Joining me tonight is Mr Richards, Liberal Senator Holly Hughes, broadcaster Lucy Zelic and Sky News contributor Joe Hildebrand. Well, let's begin in Victoria, where the Allan government has confirmed that Melbourne's Australia Day parade is officially dead. Now, it was cancelled by Daniel Andrews 4 years ago under the guise of COVID, even though, of course, 10,000 people were allowed to march for Black Lives Matter in the middle of restrictions and 30,000 were allowed to go to the Boxing Day test in 2020. That was all good, and the Sunday Herald Sun has confirmed that it will not be coming back in any form because, of course, COVID, it's so bad, you know. No, what actually happened? Daniel Andrews used COVID, as we know, to cancel Australia Day, and Jacinta Allan, his protégé, is all on board. And like so many things during COVID, safety was just an opportunity for politicians and bureaucrats to do what they'd always wanted to do. And the Department of Premier and Cabinet is also giving thousands of public servants the option to work on Australia Day and take a different day off. I mean, honestly, they're not even trying to hide it anymore, Holly, and this is the problem, is they'll be able to do this and they'll get away with it. Maybe that's in part because it's Victoria. We saw the backlash to Australian Venue Co when they said they wouldn't have Australia Day. We saw the backlash to Woolies, but this is continuing unabated. I would have thought by now, given the backlash we've seen of late, people would have woken up and gone, oh, hang on a minute, maybe we won't talk about Australia Day and rush into getting rid of these things anymore.
But it just seems to be Melbourne. I mean, it really does.
Fair point.
Well, I mean, because it was only a couple of weeks ago we had the Maya windows were cancelled that families had been going in to look at because of Palestinian protest threats, and yet the Allan government did nothing. Quite frankly, I love Australia Day. I think it's a fabulous day that Australia should be really proud to come together as one country. If it upset you that much, stay home, cry into your Weet-Bix, go to Woolies. They don't like it either. There's plenty of pubs you can go support that don't like it. But for the majority of Australians who do support it, and it is the majority of Australians, this is a government who's just consistently showing they're out of touch. Melbourne is not leading the way in the nation at any stage except into its woke agenda, and we can see that the city's dying and going backwards and consistently just not the old Melbourne anymore. So it's horrible to see, but this is just yet another example.
But we have an Australian state here, Kel, disavowing the Australian Day. Well, if we could just carve them out and send them off. Let's get Tassie and do like a transplant with Victoria maybe. But like they are an Australian state disavowing the Australian National Day. We don't want to be part of that. I mean, why do people like Jacinta Allan even bother running places in Australia? I mean, surely she as Premier should recognise that she is ruling over stolen land. What right has Jacinta Allan to be Premier of Victoria when that land does not belong in any way to her?
She is doing the best she can. She's trying to give as much control over Victoria as she possibly can to her unelected council, which is sort of the Victorian version of The Voice. So the rock climbers are just the start. You know, more and more will be taken over, and there'll be times when, you know, they will discover sacred paintings in Collins Street and everything will be taken over. So she's slowly giving it away.
Not near the Sofitel, I hope.
I'm sorry, maybe even your room.
Well, actually,
there is secret business happens there, you see.